welcome to where the furniture isn't always the best, but them views, they are amazing.
It's a 13 for y'all. 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 It's a 13 for y'all.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 13th floor where the furniture isn't always the best, but the views are amazing. I am your moderator, B. Jones, and we down one tonight. Shout out Sir Fresh. But we gonna hold it down for you, brother. DJ,
Freshito.
bottom corner. What's happening, man?
All good, baby. I see Art throwing the use up, man. We getting excited. Football season coming around, man. All the game coming up in a couple weeks. Just mentally preparing, man.
Hope y'all have a great time down there.
Yeah, man. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good time. As long as COVID stays, but where it need to do and not go up crazy, it's gonna be a good time.
Y'all hitting tailgates? We can say that. Let me get through the introductions first.
To be determined.
All right, what's going on, man?
Good. Good week. Well, it's been about like 2 weeks now. 2 weeks. So I've been on a podcast. We did the live, which is great. I popped on the live. Hopefully everyone watched that. But before we go further, if you haven't done so yet, give us a like, subscribe to us. If you're watching for the first time or for the 100th time, please subscribe, share it. We're trying to grow to 1,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel. So if you are listening to this or watching on YouTube, hit the like button, subscribe, watch us grow with us, and we'll do more things. But it's been a really, really cool week. Not much has happened. Just getting ready for this game that's coming up soon. And my wish is not to destroy Alabama. I just want to go down to the fourth quarter, kick a field goal, and destroy their entire season from that one kick. That's all I ask. I don't want anything big to happen. I want it to be a tough game by 3 points. That's it.
I think Alabama can survive one loss. I think if anything, we'll be shot to the top of the charts if that were to happen. But anyway, Coach K, what's happening, man?
I just want to disagree with Faison out the gate.
He was a murder.
You got to hold on to it. You got to keep the dream alive.
Which dream?
The one he talked about keeping the game close and
That's not
winning
what
by
I'm
a
talking
field.
about. That's not what I want to disagree with.
Oh, okay.
I definitely nothing but optimism. There's no room for negativity around here when it comes to our chances in that game.
It was.
Not at all. No, I want to disagree. We do not want 1,000 subscribers. We want about 5,000 subscribers. So just putting it out there.
That's true.
Yes, we want 5,000 subscribers. I'm not even going to play with that little number. 5,000. All right. So,
but yeah,
absolutely, 5,000. That's my baby step. Let's get to 5,000. So y'all, please start sharing, even if they're incarcerated. Share. It's good messages, good themes.
yes.
Good stuff, man.
They got cell phones in there. They can listen. So subscribe
You
to
got
the
cell
podcast
phones,
app.
internet, yeah, all that good stuff. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah. But I'm good. Otherwise, man, as usual, change. So
The only constant in life.
Yes, sir.
So while y'all at the liking and the subscribing, don't stop at YouTube, man. Make sure you get on the Facebook, like us on Facebook, like us on Instagram at 13th Floor, please. Subscribe to the podcast, whether it's iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Spotify, wherever you listen, and just make sure you share, like, comment, all of the above, so we can keep the podcast rolling, get that content out there that you love to hear each and every week. We throw this thing together.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Easy. So first things first, man. I finally hit the milestone 35 last week.
Yes,
Weekend.
sir.
It was an excellent weekend, spending time with the family. And I think I'm starting to kind of feel it. Art threw me out there with the, happy birthday young fella thing or whatnot. But 35 feels a little bit different than 30 and 32 and even 34 physically, but I'm all right with that because I'm thankful for the arrival. I feel like mentally, I feel like I've reached not a I reached a landing, not the landing, but I reached a goal, I should say, with my wisdom. I'm starting to put things together. I feel like and feel like command some a little bit of respect amongst the old heads, like you all here on the podcast.
Is there an option to kick people off? Can you kick people out?
I can. I can right now. Waiting room, no problem.
Got you. All right. That's great, man. Listen, I think I don't even know if I sent you happy birthday, man. So happy belated. My bad.
I think you did.
You didn't, man. You didn't.
did.
You suck. Don't
I
worry about
didn't.
it.
Oh, you were
Nope.
looking for it? It's terrible.
I just didn't see it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we probably should have shouted out on the live. What day was it? It was last what?
It was Friday.
Right.
Oh, yeah. We probably should have shouted out on the
we
live.
did everything early, and then life hit us in the face.
Yeah.
Right. As these things tend to happen. But it's all good though, man. It's all good though. I'm thankful for the past year. Thankful for like family and everything. I think that's one of the biggest things after reflecting on like 34, going into 35. I really want to put a large emphasis on family, not just because we have, Sonny, the new addition, but I just think it's really, really important just given the times and the space that I'm in. Like I said, I feel like I've arrived and I think I have a lot to give from the experiences up to this point to help, younger siblings, people in general. So, and it don't stop with just the immediate family, the household, man, extended family, very thankful for you guys. So, I mean, that's really the focus, man. I think I spent a lot of time in that year 34, focused on knowledge and awareness, like self-awareness, and really pouring into my bag myself. And now it's time to, really share that and achieve some other things, that's on the list. So, it's all good.
That's good stuff. It does hit you though. I'm not sure if it was 35 for me or 34 or what number, but it does hit you. And then it's going to come again. Probably 38 and 39 is going to be the next level of, okay, this is what the flow is. And then 40 comes, 40 is like, oh, it's 40, yay. And 41 comes, and 41 is like, okay, let's refocus because 40 is a celebration. And 41 for me right now is all right, what's happening? What are we doing here? How am I taking care of the boys? What's going on? What's the plan of action for that? So we'll see. That's where I am right now, because living in 41 is where I am. So I can only speak from the experience and knowledge that I have till this point.
I miss you, Mike D.
You got to come from that standpoint, man. That's your mantle now.
Yeah.
Listen, man.
You shoulder that conversation.
Yeah, and I just want to laugh at y'all. That's all I want to do. Like, what are y'all talking about?
Listen, we are living. We see. I guess I got the advantage to see you do things, go through things, see that. So it makes it easier to see 40, but see 40 in different light, 41 in different light than I saw it before. And look at their surroundings. So enjoy 35. I will tell you that, enjoy it. The 30s moves very quickly, and then you're like out of it. So just have fun with it. Do what you're doing. Make sure you take care of things that are important to you. They say the power moves have to happen between 35 and 45. So power moves.
So I got a different perspective on all this, of course, as y'all expected, but it's hard to really say because the world changes.
That's true.
Right. So what was happening to us at 35 through 40 is totally different with what the world's going to be for you 35 through 40.
True.
That's fair.
There's different complexities. There's some things that become simplicities,
Mm-hmm.
and you got to adjust. So we can tell you anything we want. That doesn't mean that you're going to be prepared. It might mean that you have it in your bag of tricks
Mm-hmm.
that you could use and you can implement. But
that's the beauty of it. I think this age span that we have here and the fact that we are able to bounce stuff off of each other, come to each other conversations, like conversations we have here and on and off air, right? Like when it comes down to it, like you have that different perspective, and it may not be the same situation, but because you can bounce stuff off, you can have the conversation, you can go a little bit deeper, you can get the perspective of others. It just sets you up for possibly being in a better advantage of entering a situation. Again, it doesn't always dictate it, but again, just being able to have that open line of communication with each other, amongst each other, is a blessing, man.
Yo, shout out anyone listening right now. What's your thoughts? Like, it's important. We always ask our listeners, the 13th floor mates, to join in. So drop some stuff in here. What you think? Some random comments about whatever your current status at where you are. You don't got to say your age. You don't want to, but drop some knowledge in there that we can share.
And speaking of sharing, one of the things that we want to get into tonight, to get some perspectives, and I'm gonna pass the I guess you got to bear this mantle, BJ, is the parenting aspect that comes along with this. All of us here have children, various ages and everything, and it changes day to day, year to year. Art, he probably got some things that he wants to get into with if eyes could talk. Namdi and Arinze. But definitely want to share that perspective and get your well, Art, we're gonna let you expound on your situation, and then we're gonna let the conversation flow from there.
All right, so let's jump right into this thing. So my oldest, Namdi, is 5 right now, and he's in this mindset. I feel like he's going into his teenage years, it's his adolescence. Everything is emotional. Everything is, you don't like me, new school, I gotta perform, I need to get my E's, because okay, the scale is E, S, something, and I. So he's in kindergarten. So not really school, but not school yet. So everything now is just about learning how to go from being in Montessori school, which was do your own thing, you learn at your own pace, you go to the bathroom, you do your thing, you gotta go do this, you do your projects, you can talk, it's all good, to now I'm going to a structure where it's like, no, raise your hand if you want to talk, raise your hand if you want to go to the bathroom, we're all talking now, So he's struggling with that, and he's the one child that loves everyone to love him. If he is not liked in the room, then the world is going to fall, the sky is falling, everything's bad. But I don't know if you went through this at 5, because I feel like it literally just happened when school started. Like, it wasn't like it was happening over summer. School started, and within the first time he got an S, which is the second grade down, and then he got a 2 and a 4. He came home, was like, no one likes me. This is the worst. And every night now it's mommy, daddy, you don't like me. Da, da, da. I'm like, no, that's not. Don't say that. We do. We love you. So I don't know if that happened with the twins at 5, or what was it like at 5? What should I expect from 5 to 6?
Hey man, before he answers that with some real wisdom and whatnot, you might not want to have him come over my house for a little while there, Chief. Because that whole you don't like me, I'd be like, I sure don't. But I love you though. But I love you though.
Right, but I love you. And
I don't like you, but I love you.
That whole thing where you just immediately just like watered up. You guys don't, like, come on, man. You can't, that's not what it is. So yeah.
One thing, hold on, BJ, before you jump in with the wisdom. What is the sign of your son? What's his zodiac?
Taurus. He's
Okay.
emotional and mean sometimes. Just
leads with the emotion, I believe, right?
Yes, 100%. He was 2 days from being a Gemini. 2 days. He'd
I
be
don't know if
fine.
you win on either one of those sides.
No,
'Cause
I
me
mean
as a
he'd be
Gemini,
fine with Jamal. He'd be emotional, but he'd be okay. That Taurus, oh, they hold it. They hold it, and they just everything's with their heart.
You get the horns.
So please, almighty leader of our
Of
family.
fatherhood.
Yes, fatherhood, please.
So the first thing is that I have no idea about the whole horoscope thing. That's not in my realm. I don't even think about it. So I don't even know what anybody other date is telling me. Besides, if you tell me, I'm not gonna think about it. So I know I'm a Capricorn. I have no idea what that means. Yeah, that's that, and I only because people told me that over the years. But go back to the statement that was there. First things first, man. Like 5 is one of those transitions, especially going to school, is one of those transition days. So emotional, does it happen at 5 years old? It's gonna happen sooner or later in most cases, right? But I think don't focus on the age, focus on the transition of environment.
Okay.
That's the trigger right now with it, what I'm hearing from what's going on there, because that stretch from a Montessori environment to a traditional we call it standard classroom is hard, especially for a kid who is active, who has that sense of self-sustainability, right? And the classroom does it on their own, whatever. To go from that to I have to sit down and raise my hand, and you're like, that's tough for a kid to like, but why? But why? Why is it like this? Why does it have to be like? Because I don't know this. Like this is new to me. And now they're trying to fit him in that box. And that's part of the problem with our public education. Education system, period. I can't even say public, right? That's problem with that, because the whole idea is that you need to fit in this box and raise your hand and sit down, and I'll tell you when to go to the bathroom. I'll tell you when you can do this. And some of it I get, you have to teach certain skills, be patient, stuff like that. But also, one question is, have you guys had the conversation with the teacher about he's from a Montessori program, and that's the stuff that he do. So the teacher needs to be understanding as well. Like, this is not that this child just is misbehaving or doesn't want to follow rules. They have not been colonized. I use that word right now into the education system.
It's pretty much, you're right. It is like colonization, because he goes from the mindset of being able to be free and do his own thing. And yes, we did tell his teacher, who she's amazing. She's great. Like, he comes home, talk about her, how great she is, how awesome the school is. Like that. But it is a challenge, because this is a Christian school, very strict. Everything's down to the I's and T's. So yeah, it is a dramatic change for them. But when she says he does leading of the class, 100% great. Like, he can go out there in front of the class, lead the class, do everything for them, recites things that he recited without question, goes for it all, because he just grabs it. He's super smart and he can see it. But when it comes to just sitting there and being quiet, or sitting there on this time, like lunchtime, don't talk, just eat your food, game over.
Because that's not. It's like me
tell a
taking
5-year-old to sit down and eat lunch and not talk.
But
it's certain time.
Any 5-year-old, but especially who's coming from a Montessori background, that's unheard of. They don't do that. Right. The thing in the Montessori room is your freedom, your ability to move around and do your choice, your ability to do stuff. Right. That's really what except the early stages of reading, that's really what a classroom should be. They should be able to explore, to find things and do stuff. Should there be some structure there? Yes, there has to be some type of control of classroom. Right. We need ways to get each other's attention, to do stuff, whatever. But to just say, you're going to sit here all day and do this, that's the old school thinking. That's why part of the reason why the system is broken right now. Our kids don't learn like that.
What's happening over there with UK? What's going on with Asher?
Well, remember, he's been out of the Montessori for a minute.
So he's adapting fine.
Yeah. So that sit down, you got to spend this time at your workstation, do your thing. He's good with it.
At the same time, Asher's also very, I'm good. Like, I don't need you guys. I can do my own thing and be, which is why I think Arenze is going to be fine, because Arenze is that person. He's like, I'm good. He brings home all ease. He's literally the quiet kid. He sits in the back, does his thing, no worries. Namdi has to be the showstopper of the group, and not even the clown.
But that right there about the all E's, like that's another thing of conditioning, right?
Yes.
Like you're told that you're not good. It's amazing you're not good unless you get all E's across the board. That's just it is what it is, and that's the wrong mentality to set for kids, right? Where is each kid at emotionally, academically, physically? Like, because even physically, I bet one of the crazy things, right? If you guys have not take 5 minutes in one day and just kind of like watch the kids, look how awkward kids are now today. And I say that out of all love, because most kids at the early ages are not outside running, jumping, climbing trees, and doing stuff like we were outside all play. They're awkward physically because the hand-eye coordination, all that stuff is just not there. Like you have your special cases, but amongst the whole group, it's missing. And again, I go back. I was watching some kids in a school before, and I'm just looking like they were walking down the hallway, and the teacher was trying to do stuff like hop on one foot, like this is the cute stuff to keep them entertained while they're waiting for the bathroom or something like that. And like it was so awkward. Like I remember like in preschool, like walking on the balance beam and jumping rope and doing all these things, kicking a ball. Like those skills are not really part of the curriculum anymore. Crazy. So kids nowadays they don't have that stuff.
Right. And we had that was with intention, right? It wasn't just to have you out there trying to go across a balance beam or, climb a rope, do the shuttle run. All of those things were with intention. Right. It wasn't just trying to see, okay, well, who's an athlete? No, it was trying to improve your coordination, your connection between the brain and your body. And we've lost that to a degree. We have to go seek that on our own.
Watch how kids hold a pencil nowadays.
Oh, listen.
If you something that scares you, like if you ever in any school and anybody listen to this, I urge you this year as your kids start doing homework, whatever, just step back, watch how kids hold a pencil and watch their grip, watch the struggle kids have with it of all ages.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I think Montessori did well. They were learning how to write since like they were 2. So they've been holding chopsticks and so forth, and they had that skill set and doing cursive writing in the school. So cursive even. Cursive's dead, and a lot of places it's not even used anymore. But it was a great thing. So yeah, you're right though. That is a very thing. People can't hold pencils properly. They can't write with pens or markers or even crayons. You see them drawing. Way they do it is more like
right because nowadays in the schools, you know what I'm saying. You get a tablet. You know what I mean? It's just like
if you write with your finger, drawing. Yeah,
exactly.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's a little bit different. What I will say is like the only thing with Asher is he's just like, yeah, I don't like that. We don't get to take a nap anymore.
We still get naps. We get naps at school.
In kindergarten.
Oh, really?
In kindergarten, yes.
Kindergarten, no.
Oh well, they get them there. They get it for They get it for 40 from 2 o'clock to 2:30. They get naps.
Namdi does.
Yep.
Is that the end of the day, like the wrap up of the day?
Yeah, end of the day, and before aftercare.
Oh,
so
please,
yeah,
don't give them no nap right before I pick them up. I'm good on that.
There's no way aftercare until 5 o'clock. He can burn some more energy out before it gets to me.
Kindergarten, no nap time is over for a while.
So naps over. Okay, so public school takes naps out in kindergarten. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So question, how long has he been in this school? Like when did they start?
They started school on August don't have me lie to you. It's probably been
2 weeks ago.
2.5 weeks. Yeah. 2 weeks. Yeah. This is the half week. So yeah, 2 weeks and a half. Mm-hmm.
In that amount of time, what's the plan so that Namdi can stay Namdi, but still try to, get along with the requirements of the school?
What we're doing is just trying when he gets home, let him still do his thing. So he gets home, he gets to help out around the house. His normal things, still go outside and play, do his leading things he has home. but then try to balance in what he's learning in school and make it fun for him. So bringing back the ability to show us what he did, teach Arenze what's happening, so he get to show that to his little brother. And then just play around. We still make sure that when they get home, they have dinner, they have homework time, playtime, then nighttime or nighttime. So schedule is still the same. And yeah, just keeping him positive and letting him know that it's okay to not get that E at one time, but succeed and try to do your best, be the best student. But I coincide that with he's Nigerian. So the example is E is it. If there's no E, is nothing. So he has that being beaten to his head too, and he has to be successful. So it's a very fine line I got to balance because he has to be like, yeah, the number one in class is a requirement from his mom and his grandparents. So yeah, it's gonna be tough. It's going to be tough to bounce out. But listen, he will still be
Choose words carefully, right?
Yeah, he will still be the smiley, cheery kid when it comes to that. But it's going to have to be during break time and recess. And when school starts, he has to be. I actually told him, this is what I said to him. I said, when you're in class, people are wanting to talk to you. And he goes, yes, they want to talk to me. They're my friends. They talk to me. I said, but do you want to talk to them? He goes, no, I don't want to. I want to learn in school. I want to learn what's being taught. I said, well, instead of you talking to them, just tell them, shake your hand, say no, and focus on the teacher, because he has that attraction and people want, he brings that energy of talk to me, have fun with me, play with me. But then they're going to want to he'll be the one to get called out because he also is very loud, it's a very loud voice. So he's going to talk over everyone else. So yeah.
What's the diversity of the classroom?
It's his teacher is white. His classmates, it's a nice mix. It's a nice mix of classmates. It's probably, I think I saw 3 to 5 white Caucasian kids. There's 3 Nigerians in his class I know of so far. There's a couple of just the regular Black Americans. There's a couple of Spanish kids. I think it's maybe 1 or 2 Asians in there. And then the levels of income are all over the place. There's I've seen Porsches in his class. I've seen Teslas. I've seen, my FJ Cruiser go through and some regular cars. So you got a mixture of all kinds of people going here. And the class 36 is 13 strong, I think. So.
And that question for anybody listening is not because it's a black and white thing, right? Mm-hmm. It's what does a school cater to? What crowd does a school cater to? And at that point in time, then what does the teacher, what is their preference, if you will? Mm-hmm. Who do you teach to? Do you teach to the individual student, or do you teach to the middle of the road? Or do you only teach to the high? So that there's a wide range there, right? And it could be any of the two or a mixture of everything. But when you think about it, or what's going on in that classroom, it really is he needs to be himself. Mm-hmm. Yeah, are there guidelines and things? But there's other things. So again, if it's sitting down, when it's time to sit down or whatever, maybe when it's work, and again, it's not and don't let them push you into a hyperactivity thing, thing. Yeah, don't, because that's just his personality, moving around and stuff. Like, they should be doing a whole bunch of stuff. Like, if there's anything, like when it's work time, let him stand up and do his work. Right. Give him if you got to do yourself, man, one of those swivel seats to sit down and do. That may do something in the classroom because he's the only one. Distraction. But but there's many different things. Even those fidget spinners, fidget things to do. They were designed for a certain thing. But for a lot of people who just need to have that energy focused and then distraction, it works wonders, right? There's many different things there.
The problem is that he busts through his work so quickly too. So
he's the boys. I was about to ask that. How is he? He's bored, and he's not. Right. It's not the pace is not for him. Exactly. So again, that also tells me it's not individualized to let him flourish in the environment and challenge him.
Yeah, not yet. I think this school, the academic rigor at this school is extremely hard. But we're only in the beginning of the process for it, and she said it's about to get serious. So I think with that challenge coming, it's going to make it more of a fun focusing. But right now, he's already done everything that's being taught now. He's already mastered that, literally. So it's kind of like, okay, yeah, sure.
I believe Asher probably in that same boat too.
Yeah, pretty much. They're talking about they working on drawing the letter T.
Right.
What? The letter T?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
Mm-hmm.
So BJ, you alluded to a lot of the things. Because when I asked the question like about the what the plan was to help Nandi be Namdi and still be successful, that's what I'm looking for, like on the school side, because Nandi spends what 8-10 hours there between before care, after care, and then instructional time.
8 to 6, 8 to 5. So yeah.
Yeah, so it's like they spend the majority of their day there, and he sees this one teacher, but he's not able, or he's still trying to figure the way his way in this environment, and without that teacher giving him some of the individualized attention that he needs, he's just left out there to swim with no life vest or whatnot. And so some of those things that BJ highlighted, because he's an educator that cares, is some of the stuff that we kind of need to make sure is emphasized with our children, because otherwise we don't always know everything that's going on. And we ran into a situation where Nia gets behind from 3rd, 4th grade or whatever, because we didn't know all of what was going on until it became a stay at home type of situation, and we can really get good rapport. So I really I'm keen on that, to make sure that he's able, or our children in general are able to be developed in the ways that best fit them. The other thing I wanted to ask you, well, Kay, you want to jump in?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm not gonna forget mine. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, the other thing I want to ask you, because I hear you say it's like, because he's Nigerian, it's E or nothing, right? And that's great, what I'm saying? Shoot for the stars or whatever. But I wonder about the amount of pressure, especially at an early age, that's placed upon, the child. And seeing, I think we talked about, watching the Olympics on the podcast, or maybe outside of the podcast. But I look at
Gabby,
Naomi Osaka and Gabby as well. But I think her absence came down to some brain. I can't remember what it was, but it's like she was just off balance or whatever. And I know there was another story prior to that being what was the issue, but I think it's probably a mix of the two. But I think about Naomi more so because this is an elite level athlete that's probably been in the been in the limelight for her entire life. And the amount of pressure that is put on her and people in general to meet or exceed or meet a certain expectation, and that's it. If you don't meet that, you're nothing. So how do you kind of feel about that? Because I don't want to say I sensed a little bit, but it's like you say it and it's like, yeah, I don't know, that I got to let that Nigerian kind of take root, but I don't necessarily know if that's the best thing, for my child.
Well, I mean, for me, it's actually a good thing. I think, because that's the need to be top of the class is a very strong thing. It's going to help him build that confidence later on. It's a fine line to teeter to make sure that it's not to a point where it becomes depression or it becomes overwhelming. And understanding why the E or why this level of the A when that time comes is important to overall status. I have learned too. Like, I got to learn this because I didn't have that until I got to high school, that the A's were important. I ran a 3.9 or 4.0 without thinking about it, but it was just there, but it came easy. And then to college where it was like a 3, and I was like, oh, this is different. So having that ability now to run that and do it at this age, understand the importance of the studying habits and building, it's going to be important.
It's important, but like you said, you have to watch that line.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that because kids don't know what that line is, right? They draw their line based on the messages that we give them or they receive from all the environments around, right? So that is everything. To me, the most important thing is not that E is across the board and nothing less top of the class. It is, so you're not happy with where you're at. What do you need to do in order to do this? So you talk about goal setting, you talk about realization where you're at, you talk about goal setting early and helping them think through, okay, I got an S on this math assignment, this science, this writing, whatever I did. So whatever the curriculum portion is. think through why did I get that and what do I need to do? If I'm to get better, what do I have to do? Not that I just have to get an E. What does that E even mean? Right? Because most kids at that age, they're just they said I gotta get A's, I gotta be top of the class. But what does it really mean? The same thing when we talk about teaching with curriculum, right? You're giving grades is the wrong thing because I'll get in trouble by a lot of educators if I say that. Grades that are earned or lack thereof, I'll put it that way, right? When you think about a grade, what does that grade mean? Did that student, I had kids and the conversation goes off. I had kids that were getting A's and B's in the coursework and they bring on the report cards and midterms. But when it comes to tests, and I'm not harping on testing, but when they took a test, the test was coming back that they were failing, right? Whether it be a standardized test, whether it be end of the semester final for the course, they're failing. Why is that? Well, the level of instruction that you're providing is below the grade level and below where they're going to be assessed at. So they're never even seeing the level of instruction, the level of assessment that they're going to get at the end result, right? So they may be making an A on this stuff, but if I'm in 5th grade, I'd be maybe earning A's on stuff that's a 3rd or 4th grade level. That doesn't mean I have an A in your class and an A at the 5th grade level. But I have an A on work that's really standards below my grade level, what I should be doing. I'm not even being exposed to the grade level, the rigor of the grade level that I should be. So when we talk about all these things going on, for me, you guys need to focus on, okay, talk about goal setting. And having a conversation about getting grades is not a problem, whatever, but what does he need to do and what does that take? And then that's your conversation in the afternoons and on a weekly basis. So you said this, you wanted to get an E in ELA in reading. What did you do this week? What activities were you guys working on? How did you make progress toward that? Those are the conversations that are going to stick with them than just earning an E and I got a grade and everybody's happy for me. What did that E even mean? What does that A mean versus that B? And I told even my kid like that, I'll take a hard-earned B or C over A where you just did and you don't remember nothing. But you put in the work, you got some feedback, maybe it wasn't delightful to what you want or what you expected, but you're gonna learn from it. It just being passed through with age. Like, cause even like you said, high school came easy for you. Like a lot of that stuff that came in, but how much did you really retain? How much did it really do impact you? Did you learn to think through it or you just did it to get a grade and moved on with life?
Yeah, you're right. Because for me, my high school was focused on what I wanted to do in life, which is just business. So when I get to college and to go back to those sciences and everything else, I was like, oh, why do I need this? I gotta relearn it all. But when it came to business law, accounting, all that marketing, that was all simple and easy because that's what I was focused and tested on. But you're right, the standardized test brought in everything. You're like, wait, we didn't spend time on this. We weren't doing the Pythagorean theory. We didn't care about that. We were doing accounting 101. We were focusing on actually using money and making it work. So
which is more important than learning the Pythagorean theorem, man.
Right.
I'm totally honest with you, right? Pythagorean theorem, that's just something can you manipulate letters and move stuff around? Can you do the thought process? If I remember A squared plus B squared equals C squared, who cares? And that's all from a guy who loves math. Who cares? Right. If you can't apply the thought process of what it don't matter if you remember what the Pythagorean theorem or how you can say it. It don't matter.
True.
So the only thing I was gonna say is that E, that S, and that I, Brett, exceptional, successful, inconsistent. Right, exactly. That's pretty.
Get them early.
But what I was gonna say is the pressure to be the top of the class is cool as long as there's a balance where the pressure to be properly socialized in the class happens as well.
Mm-hmm. Because
you could be the top of the class, but don't know how to interact with the class.
That's the majority.
And it sounds like Nnamdi could be that, like, is what if I'm hearing correctly, because he knows his stuff and he's very sociable. So I don't think if I'm his teacher or whatever, I can use him. Like, as an example all the time, you know, and maybe I shouldn't because other kids might develop in the wrong ways, but it sounds like that's perfect for Namdi right
That's
there.
exactly what we did.
But they have to challenge him too. If he's
Yes.
if he's not being challenged, and again, things are gonna. I know it's the beginning of the year, school year, with academic piece, but that's when you start to learn and you start to push kids to see what they can do. You want kids to. You don't want them to stay at their frustration level, but you need to push them to their frustration so you know what they can handle and how much work they can handle, how much pressure they can handle. As the leader of that classroom, you're the person that dictates what happens. Where that person is going to be reading at a first grade, second, third grade level by the time they leave you, or are they going to be status quo and everybody's going to leave here with the kindergarten mentality to just make it in the first grade? And that's what's been done. That's what's been dumbing down our schools for the longest. I don't know how else to say it. That teach to the center, teach to this is not, I can't even say grade level, below grade level, just pass it on. That's a whole nother in-depth conversation. But a kid being bored in class and showing out, that's why you got these kids today that they're sitting in class looking at me, they're acting a fool because look, why do I need to be here? I have so many stories of parents I've talked to over the last 3 weeks, month or so. The kids are like, can I just stay home and do virtual school? Because I got more out of that when I just do it on my own, ask questions, than being in a classroom with a teacher for the last couple. And these are like middle school and high school people.
Well, I think kids today are further along than we were because they realize what's going to be applicable and what's not.
They know, yeah.
Whereas we had no clue. We thought, oh man, I got to learn this. I got to, okay. Now the internet and social media has changed all that.
That's true.
It's a different game, man. You're right. They'll call you on the BS too. They'll call you on it. And if you don't have something prepared, like how is it going to help you? Not that you just need to know how are you really making this relevant to somebody's life?
Right.
That relevance key. Rigor and relevance are the two R's to work within education.
So BJ, before I wrap this and go to Art for his corner and Coach K to close us out, based on that,
don't come to me to close us out. As a matter of fact,
We let BJ close it out.
you need to go to Face On Corner and then go to BJ to close us out.
Yes.
On this topic, because this is by far the most they heard him talk on any episode that we've ever had. So
all we got to do is wrap the school piece into it, man. You know, I started out thinking it was going to be a daddy do, father me time, but yeah, we wrapped that up. We wrapped that in real good. So yeah, BJ, I want you to put the keys together for us so you can close us out real good based on that conversation, what we should be looking for as fathers, parents, as well as that, the frame of mind we should be having going into the school year. And this can count as our back to school episode as well. So Faison, I'm coming back to you. We got to get Art's Corner in here real quick, then go to BJ to get us out of here.
Yeah, the struggle is real and the struggle continues. It's an ongoing process. I think I spoke to someone about they're having a new baby now, and they're going through the phases of starting off. Not you already passed that initial. I told you the same thing too. When you're having a baby, it's all about phases. And as soon as you think you know what to expect, everything changes. And now it's the phase where, the way you would engage, the way you would talk, the way you would say, take care of this or do this now or go grab this changes to now multiple, or they're explaining why it's important to do this versus doing that now, and understanding that balance between that. So as they grow as kids and they grow as students, you still have to grow as a parent, and your growth doesn't stop. And if you consistently stay at the level that you're in and you think, oh, well, this is what I expect, is how it's going to be, you're going to be in complete shock. And life lessons that I'm learning is that you can't always compare or use what was used on you for your children, because like the case said, things were different, thoughts were different, the way you do things different. So you have to merge that process in. So ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help from your significant other as she looks at me, and also ask for help from your other cohorts, people who've been through this before, your other friends, family. You probably can't go to mom and dad about it because they're going to say, "Oh, just do this and it'll be fine." So you got to look at people who are going through it currently and talk to them and see, and then work together as a community. Let's make it happen. So community is real. Use your community to your advantage. Help support it because we're all going through it together. 5, 4, 3, 7, 9. It's all one long community towards success.
And while you're supporting your community, make sure you support this 13th floor community. As Faison said it earlier, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Trying to get those 5,000 followers, subscribers up there. Make sure you following us on all social media platforms at 13th floor, please. And wherever you're listening to this podcast, tell a friend, and then tell a friend to tell a friend, so we can get that going. Get the subscriptions up, and you get your content from us each and every week. So BJ, we in your world, man. Go ahead and close us out, sir.
So this is one of those things where it can go many different ways, right? But I think the biggest thing is that it ties right into what Art was just saying about community. The conversation we were having at work today, roundtable discussion we had with some outside individuals about the CRT, critical race theory, what it is, what it isn't, and how basically education systems are letting our kids down. But the real CRT argument is nothing about the schools, it's just being made that way as a decoy. Need all that to say, one of the comments that was made, so a black male, that first of all, we have to recognize and give thanks to and all honor, kudos, everything to the black female, because the black female has basically carried our communities for how you count the many years, we can do it. You think about elections this past year, you think about in general, and I'm making a generality here, and I know, but I'm gonna come back to it, that the educational well-being of students is mostly held by who? The mother, right? And a lot of times. Nowadays, more fathers than ever, I believe are active in it. But that's my battle cry. That's what I need to lead with. This goes for everybody, but to my men out there. Whether you're together with mom or not, whatever, you still need to play a part of the community for their educational career. You need to play a part in their lives with everything that's going on. You need to be an advocate. One of the ladies said, and it sounded like I didn't know if she was going, but when she gave the punchline, like, you're right. The whole thing I hear talking about Black women coming out in public with bonnets, right? So the line was, what do you call a Black mother standing in the school office with a bonnet? You call her an advocate. That mother is doing what she knows how to do. She don't care what she looks like. She's not worried about her hair at that point in time. She's not worried about all those things. So when you get a mother with a bonnet that comes into your front office, you treat her with the same respect because she's advocating for her kid the best way she knows how to. Gentlemen, you have to be involved in these things, and we have to do it from a community standpoint. You need to know what that school's mission and vision is, what their goals are, how your teachers are playing into that, what curriculum they're using. Again, this goes a whole bunch of research, and sometimes I know work may get in the way of being present at PTA meetings or being on the advisory committees, whatever. But if you have the opportunity to just be a fly on the wall, even not a participant, you need to go here and then ask questions. What are they spending money on? How are they funding things? What supply, when they talk about teachers doing this, teachers doing that. They talk about what the school board is going to vote. They're talking about mask mandate. Whatever's going on in that school, you need to have your ear to the ground and understand what's going on and how you can exert your influence there and let them know that you are around and you care. And again, I say that with a grain of salt because I know what somebody, the vision of what you care may be different. Your version may be, I work third shift, I get home in the morning when they go to school. So my job is to get them out to school, get them home, and I'll go home and go to bed. That is your contribution to the education career, but it can't just stop there. You need to ask questions. You need to reach out to those that are part of the schools. If you don't have somebody you can trust at the school, what advocate, what part of the PTA can you lean on? Who can you talk to that's gonna feed you the information? All that to say, really, we talk about community, we have to lean on each other. When the topic came up, I said we talk about fatherhood, we haven't really gone in a while. It really came down to thinking about like, look, we check on each other about health lately. That's been the biggest thing. What's going on health-wise, right? We check in with about birthdays and goal setting and business and things like that. But I made the comment last week, I think, and it hit me after we got off with Art. When he jumped on the live, that Namdi and I think your nephew or somebody else was in the background. I'm like, and I realized like I spent time with Ashley, right? Ashley's been down here. When they come down here, we do it. I have never spent time yet face to face with the Arts boys. Brett, we saw Nia the 2 times we came to I think we saw Nia like one at a time, whatever. But Kellen, I've only seen the interaction with him on thing. Like, I don't know. I take pride in knowing y'all kids. Like seeing everybody else's kids thrive. Like when we get there in a couple of weeks to see Asher, I got something for him for being in kindergarten. Like, look, I got something for Namdi for being in kindergarten. Like, I love doing that type of stuff because I want to be that person that's like, look, I'm a cheerleader from the side. I don't care if they know me or not. Somebody has your back, right? And we take each other as a community. That has to go a lot further than. So again, if it's about school, if it's about sports, if it's about whatever case may be, we just have to be involved as best we can and then go a little bit further. We have to be that voice. We have to come out and just push a little harder to be like, you know what? I'm gonna be here as much as I can. I'm gonna email, I'm gonna call and check in and check up. Or if that teacher is not reading, if that teacher's not responding, you best believe the email, follow up, face-to-face will show up there. And that goes for anybody. That's your right as the parent to that child to understand what's going on, right? So all these things going on, look, we are leaning on each other to make this happen because our babies are struggling. Our babies are falling behind. In general, our babies are falling behind. Like, you talk about all these things that are going on, all the things that are happening are basically keeping our kids from the next level. We're gonna push. We know what to do. We have the thing, but in general, as a community, we've got to make some change, and we got to be able to reach out there. All right, so that's all I got, man. I'm done. Mic drop.
Hey man, drop the mic on the BJ. That's probably one of the longest, best closings we had here on the 13th floor. Ladies and gentlemen, we are done here. Appreciate y'all for listening here with us on the 13th floor, where the furniture isn't always the best. The views and the popcorn and the you.
It's a 13 for y'all.